A gay weasel drinks jizz-diluted bathwater and menstrual blood as he worms his way into the lives of super-rich shitheads in director Emerald Fennell's disgusting Saltburn.
Hello to my little friend!
I wanted a mission, and for my sins I gave you one.
There goes an eternity.
Just when the world was not crying out for a talented Mr. Ripley ripoff, Emerald Fennell takes a power dump on our collective chests with this sordid, pretentious, vomit-inducing trip through the halls of the rich and shameless. Look, before I even get into the machinations of the plot, there's a trend towards self-sabotage that runs rampant through this film, and it becomes crystal clear from the opening shot. Why oh why on earth are we electing to take a film with some pretty gorgeous cinematography and cutting it off at the knees by using a very uncinematic square box aspect ratio? Look, I get Robert Eggers did this with The Lighthouse. Debatable how good an idea that was. But at least I get the effort to frame a black and white retro film to match the look of an era. But why here? Just the first of several examples of director Fennell's need to be perceived as an artiste, I suppose. All to the visual detriment of her own film. What exactly were you going for, dear? Hoping the audience would view this claptrap on Soviet-era TVs? Pretentious stupidity. Anyway, the story starts with our young protagonist Oliver, played by the hideous Barry Keoghan, as a middle-class scholarship student stumbling amongst the obnoxious young dickheads that roam the halls of Oxford. Keoghan, who has the perpetual look of someone who can't quite figure out where the smell of shit is coming from, check your sock drawer, Barry, is particularly good here as a fish well out of his element. Oliver is to the affluent what the Swedish guy is to the 100-meter final in the Olympics. So Oliver sets his gay eye on the super-popular handsome man about campus Felix, played by the forgettable Jacob Elordi in a tour de tepid performance here. Oliver worms his way into Jacob's circle of rich, vapid friends, and before you know it gets an invite to spend the summer at Saltburn, the blue blood estate that is Felix's home. And here's where the story begins its slow spiral towards the sewer. As we're introduced to an eccentric mix of weirdos, including the usually serviceable Rosamund Pike as the family matriarch, the overrated Richard E. Grant as the dithering old father, the morose zombie of a daughter, she's played by someone called Alison Oliver, the gay bitchy cousin Farley is played by someone else called Archie something or other, and we even get a brief visit from hanger-on Aunt Pamela, overplayed by mole-mouth Carey Mulligan in a red cheap wig in a performance no one will be talking about for years to come. And so, let the madcap shockorama barf-inducing fun begin. Oliver begins his odyssey through the hollowed halls of Saltburn, ingratiating himself amongst this band of weirdos while still lustfully eyeballing the man of his dreams, Felix. Director-writer Fennell grabs the audience by the scruff of its neck and demands that we understand the full extent of Oliver's lustful obsession by showing Felix, secretly observed by Oliver, whacking his custard launcher in the bathtub. Then later, we observe Mr. Keoghan lap up the jizzy residue as the tub drains. Boy, that's true love, I'll tell you. I can only imagine the grim smile on Miss Fennell's mug, plotting, rubbing her hands together as she imagines the ooze cooing from the pale captive audience. Not long after, Fennell cranks the gross-out meter even higher by having our hero carpet munch the morose daughter of the family while she's in full Crimson Tide mode. Then, of course, the coup de grace as he plants a menstrual-bloodied kiss right on her lips. Jesus, how bad do you need the audience to gag? After that, watching Barry Keoghan fully in his birthday suit dry hump a freshly dug grave feels like a moment of conservative normalcy. So without giving much away, people die and Oliver worms his way more and more into the Saltburn woodwork. We get more scenes of absurd decadence. A drunken match of tennis played by dopes in tuxedos, an area of the estate, a field where you can only enter nude, bad karaoke lights, extravagant birthday parties where people wear angel wings or antlers on their heads, etc., etc. I'm really not sure exactly what Fennell has to say about wealth and status in Western culture, other than rich people are to their very core scum and deserving of being torn down and butchered by the unwashed masses. Strikes me as a tad one-dimensional and harsh. With an actual opportunity to say something about sexuality, friendship, human frailty, and rationalized morality, Fennell elects to punt and instead turn the final act into a whodunit explainer befitting an episode of Scooby-Doo. She shows for us how young Oliver was in fact a total Machiavellian puppet master, in control of every plot twist until he was able to murder his way into sole possession of Saltburn. So just wondering, if it was all a ruse, if he really didn't love Felix, then why privately slurp up his jizz water? Why is he doing that? Well, hey, let's not let a big plot hole get in the way of a good opportunity to shock the shit out of the audience. So, by film's end, we get Barry Keoghan preening and dancing naked as a jaybird with his uncircumcised meat rocket flopping about like a beached mackerel through the halls of his newly acquired state to some really shitty disco music. I'm honestly surprised Fennell didn't have him drop a deuce on the camera lens, just so you know how much she loathes the paying audience. Saltburn can be seen in select theaters and Amazon Prime and gets an acid test rating of nasty, pretentious shit. That is all. Come on, you know what to do. Like and subscribe so I can get some cashola, fix this damn camera. Let's go.